Welcome to the MFS Wellness Podcast, a hybrid structure encompassing health, fitness, self-improvement, and entertainment, where no topic is off limits and all opinions are graciously welcomed.
Let's get on with the show!
And now, here's the host of the show, Mike Sinopoli.
This is the MFS Wellness Podcast. I am Mike Sinopoli, and it has been about a month since I have recorded an episode. For those of you messaging me wondering where I'm at, I am fine. I'm here. Life gets busy. I am on at minimum once a month episode at a time right now. I'm going to try for more. My goal is still to do one a week, so I'm going to keep going at that and figure a way to get it in. As a result of life, my job has me going all over the place, so I'm not home a lot. I'm divorced, and that's got its own challenges, and I have an episode coming up soon with two other dads who are divorced with daughters. So the three of us are going to jump on and hoping to do that within the next week, and we're going to discuss what it's like being a divorced dad with two girls and how we go through it, manage it, and all that. So that'll be coming up very soon once I get those guys locked down. And they've been ready, I won't lie, and it's been me that has been pushing that episode back just to get some bullet points down for them. But that's coming up on this episode. Kind of ties in a way, I guess. But I'm asking a question: is college worth it? Okay, so this is a loaded question, and it's not going to be a yes or no, because I'm already going to tell you, just to get the extremes out of the way, that for certain occupations, like an engineer, a doctor, a lawyer, computer science, things like that, yes, you need to get a degree. You need to educate yourself that way, and you need to go ahead and do that so that you're well-versed in what you're going to do. And, those are higher paying jobs. Those are going to, if you take loans out, you're going to be able to pay your degree back pretty quickly, pretty soon as you get out of college right away. With those types of jobs, your return on investment of your degree is going to be worth it. So I'm not talking about those types of jobs, okay? What I'm more going at here is where you want to go, what you want to do in relation to the debt. Okay, the whole thing here is the debt. Now, right now you're thinking, well, I want to do this, and I need a degree because they say so. Okay, I get that, and then sometimes the odds are stacked against you, and I'm against it in a lot of cases. I think that over the last several years, and I'm going to get to a chart showing something here, but in the last several years, since I've been raised, is you got to get that piece of paper. They'd always say, you got to go get that piece of paper. I was never one that knew what the hell I wanted to do in my life. I'll tell you that right now. I still don't, really. I mean, if you asked me now, and I think it's wild that if you think about this, 18-year-olds nowadays, they are not built the same as 18-year-olds from 30 years ago, 40 years ago. They're just not. They're not as matured. They're just in some cases, they are just still kids, and they look like kids, and they act like kids still at 18. Now, I think it's almost an irresponsible thing to tell an 18-year-old that you need to know what you want to do with the rest of your life, and you need to go into six-figure debt in order to go ahead and attain that. I don't know about you, but I've changed a lot since I was 18. My ambitions and my drive. Some people figure it out. I'm not saying everybody, but talking for myself, I still don't know. Initially I wanted to go into hospitality and hotels because I worked at a hotel for 6 years. And my boss over there told me, don't do that. That's way too focused, and it's not going to pay off. And I'm glad I never did. But anyways, just so you do know, a background on me, I went to community college for a little while, and then Roosevelt University for a little bit, and I finished up at DePaul University, and I got a bachelor's degree in business and in business writing and communications as well. So it took me a while. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't into it because I didn't have a clear direction of what I wanted to do at that time. If I went back right now with my mindset, I would probably go and become an RD. Registered dietitian and work in that field. Although the pay is not very great based on the amount it costs to do a degree. I'm in outside sales now. Did my job require me to have this degree? No. Did it help? Maybe. I don't know. I don't think any job I've taken since I've been out of college has needed my degree. I mean, occasionally I think they just throw it on Indeed. Yeah, 4-year degree required. But like, for what? Like, is it really relevant to the job? That's kind of what I'm getting at here. So I'm going to go in through, here's what I'm going to do in this episode. I'm going to kind of tell you the 21 most useless degrees. And then I'm also going to go ahead and tell you some of the highest paying majors in college that'll help you pay that loan off faster. Okay. College debt is terrible. I want you to know that. I'm going to lay this out as easily as I can without visuals for you. It's actually, to me, it's setting up people in their youth as they become an adult to normalize deep, steep debt as a norm to them, as something that we do. I don't know if that's intentional. I don't know if that's just how it ended up. But all I know is the cost of education is entirely too expensive. No, I don't think it should be free because nothing is free. But I do think it needs to be affordable. And I don't think we need to go into crippling debt in order to obtain this degree to get this job to go forward with it when the degree isn't necessary for the job. I mean, what are we really going to work for? We got to stop with that culture where we can't talk about, hey, I'm going to work to get paid. I don't care. I work for a company now. I work for Snap-on. My boss is phenomenal. He literally just, we want to get paid. We're here to get paid. The guy's a great leader. Unbelievable. You know, it's to the point. We're doing what we're doing. It's a tough gig, but it's a rewarding one. So not to get into that, but we are going to work to make money. Okay. When you go to work to make money, you take the money from work, you pay off your bills, you do some fun things, but you also need to go ahead and invest that money. And that money grows and obtains compound interest over time. And that money works for you. That's the process of it all. Someone with a six-figure income, $150,000 versus somebody with a $50,000 income. Okay. Those two people, they can have totally different net worths and how much wealth they actually have. If somebody has a $150,000 salary and they go ahead and piss all their money away on stupid cars and dumb clothing and ridiculous depreciating crap that's just a flat out liability that's just digging them a deep hole, they are not as wealthy as somebody making $50,000 an hour, $50,000 an hour. Shit, I wish a year, and going ahead and living within their means and investing their money into a Roth IRA or a index fund, the S&P 500. I'll get into a little bit of that too if you'd like. But we're going to go ahead and just kind of reel this thing back in because I can go on a tangent about this kind of stuff and lose my whole train of thought. So basically what I'm saying here is the entire amount of money paid for this needs to be considered about how much debt you're going to take on. All right. So I ran some numbers. Okay. So the average cost of college, okay, is $54,000. All right. I know, people might have different means about it, down payments, grants, scholarships, things like that. And most terms on these loans are about 20 years. It takes people about 20 years to pay off their student loans. Now, think about that. You get out, the payments start, I believe, either right as you start college or right after, whatever. You're either going to, if you pay off in full and you're on it and you're not going any deeper and you're not struggling to pay it, you're done paying. Think about this. You're done paying your student loans when you're like 38 to 42. That's like halfway through life. And you've just paid off your college. And who knows what your pay is. And you never know what's going to happen when you have to take a salary cut because you got laid off and you had to get some other job in the meantime. And you fall behind on this and your interest builds up. So it's $54,000 on a 20-year term at an 8% rate. That's about the average that I looked up. Okay. If you find different, let me know. But that equates to about $451 per month for those years, for 20 years. And that means the interest is about $54,000, which means it's basically costing you double. So in short, to not confuse anything, it's $108,000 for school, basically. That's what it comes out to. After all the interest is taken in and the payments are done and you're done, if you go pay it on time once a month, at a 20-year term, $54,000, 8%, you're spending $108,000. Okay. So now think about this. So you get the degree, you got to make sure that this thing actually pays off. Okay. But now if we go to the compounding side, let's say you skip college. You don't want to go. You don't want to do anything. You don't know what you want to do. You go get a job, a good paying job. All right. And instead you take and you say, well, wow, if I would have gone to college, I will be spending $451 to this loan for 20 years. Now, what if I just said, I'm going to go to work, but I'm going to pretend I got that loan and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pay myself $451 every month into an 8% returning account. Now that's can be a Roth IRA is about there. At the S&P 500 in index fund, it actually yields about 10.1% on average annually. Okay, so if you contribute $451 monthly, you don't go to school. Instead, when you're 38 or 42, whatever age it is, you will have, with compounding interest going in your favor at 8%, $267,000. Okay, so now think about that. You are sitting there with $267,000 at age 40, as opposed to zero, and have given this accredited university $100,000. Like, that's wild to me to think about that. Like, if you really run those numbers. So what I'm saying here is, look, like I said in the beginning of this, if you're a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, something like that, that needs this college, these masters, these PhDs, doctorates, whatever it is, fine. I get it. I agree. I think they need to be educated that way. For some of these, like a surgeon needs to know what's going on here. They need to go to school. They need to be thoroughly educated in how to operate. So I understand that. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the big chunk of humans who have been lied to and told that you need this 4-year fucking piece of paper in order to get a job to survive in this fucking society that taxes the living shit out of you. Okay? Think about it. I'm talking about big demographic of people who never knew what they wanted to do, wanted to pursue something that probably didn't really need a degree. Like, how many times have you heard people say, I got this degree, I don't use shit for it while I'm on my job? I don't fucking know, but they said they needed a 4-year degree for what? So it shows you can complete something? I don't know about that, because nowadays, I'm sorry, you can get an online degree and they don't do shit. They just sit there and it's basically buying a piece of paper. It's a total scam to me. I don't care. It's a total scam. Just, you need that piece of paper. We've been conditioned to do this, and it's ridiculous. So I kind of explained that to you. I hope that made sense. The avoiding student loans and avoiding the debt and the normalization of that too. Because once you normalize being in debt, it's easier to stay in debt and remain in debt and just fall into that pit of interest, and you're never going to retire. And you're always going to be at the mercy. You're going to have a shit credit score, and life's going to be harder just because you went to school. Okay, so now I have an article here from the Pew Research Center. They're pretty credible, I believe. May 23rd, 2024, and they asked, is college worth it? This is by Richard Fry, Dana Braga, and Kim Parker. And I'm not going to get too deep into this here, but it says 1 in 4 U.S. adults say it's extremely or very important to have a 4-year degree for a well-paying job in this economy. So that's only a fourth. They have a chart here. It says basically they've broken it down. 22% of U.S. adults say the cost of college is worth it, even if someone has to take out loans. So it breaks down. So 22% say it's worth it. College is worth it no matter what. 20%, even with the loans. 29% say college is not worth it at all. And 47%, and this is probably where I sit with it, is worth it, but only without taking out loans. So yes, I understand that you can probably potentially get through it without the loans and just pay tuition. I know there's that option, but that's still $54,000. Still a lot of money. So, whatever. But I just think that, so what they say here is roughly half say it's less important to have a 4-year college degree today in order to get a well-paying job than it was 20 years ago. 32% say it's more important. 17% say it's about as important as it was 20 years ago. So they're just doing some different polls here. It looks like, they also are breaking it down here. Of course, they have to do it politically, Republicans versus Democrats. I'm not going to get into that because I don't care. I think that's just too much ideology and identity crap. So, anyways, so what do you do? What do you do? Like right now, like we've been conditioned. I think it's like if you don't go to college, you're an idiot. I think that's one of the most ridiculous things in the world. I know people that have degrees and are dumber than shit when it comes to logic. I know people with no degrees who are street smart, book smart, and everything. They know all this kind of stuff. They're spiritually intact with themselves. They have emotional intelligence. There's so much more than just academics. So much more. It's not even funny. It's worth it to be educated. Don't get me wrong. Educate. I get it. I believe in elementary school. I believe in high school. I believe in college in a sense, but I don't believe in going into crippling debt for it. And I don't believe that we should have to get this piece of paper to get a job within the system. Okay. So if you do decide to do this. You want to go to college, okay? I found this. Now, here's something to avoid. This says 21 useless degrees and what to do instead. This was from September 6, 2024 by Olga Knezovic. You know what's weird? Every time I do these articles, they always have some name I can't pronounce when I go on here. And I don't even look at the names before I hit record. So I'm just like trying to like sound it out while I'm on the air here with this. So please forgive me. But anyway, so we got top 11 useless majors. It said 21 at the top, but it looks like it only gives me 11 here. So whatever. I'm going to stick with that. And I guess they have some runners up. So I'm going to start with number 11. It says criminal justice is the earnings are only average about to $40,000 of a criminal justice degree. So it says what to do instead is become a public policy analysis, public administration, political science and government. Those all make a little bit more money. Go into economics, you get up to $60,000. So criminal justice is one. I won't go through all of it like that because I think that's going to bore everybody. So I'm just going to just roll through these and then what the earnings are. Biology, zoology, botany, lowest earnings of all STEM majors and falls in the bottom 23% of majors. So biology is going to earn you about a median of 36,000, or perhaps that's right out of college. Nothing impressive there. You're going to struggle on that type of salary. Health and medical preparatory programs. This is, let's see, it says these programs prepare students for admission to med school and other health and medical programs like dentistry and pharmacy. However, pre-med, pre-health students don't need this major as long as they take the right prerequisites. This is a $36,000 a year type gig. The next one is psychology. I don't understand that one because I believe psychology, it needs to be there for certain gigs as far as teaching and therapy, things like that. But that says $35,000. Philosophy is going to get you $32,000 a year. Let's see what we got here. Anthropology. This one came up. I was doing a little research, and anthropology came up as one of the worst degrees to get. It's number 6 on this list, but it says you might be intellectually satisfied with anthropology, but you're going to be pretty much starving basically with this. So fine arts and studio arts would be another one. I'm not so sure what that is, but if you ever hear your kid wants to do fine arts and studio arts, you might want to talk them out of it. Photography, that's $30,000 a year. I don't really think the average salary is like $19 an hour. If you get into it, that's just not going to cut it in this lifetime. Music, another degree that's $29,500. Drama theater is $27,000. And then number one worst degree you can get is a dance degree. Didn't even know they had that, but they do, and that's $25,000. But not a good return on investment for any of those degrees. So if you hear of any of your kids or loved ones pursuing that, I would wait on that. Worst majors, runners up here, looking like biblical studies, audio, visual communications and technologies, classical languages, botany, cultural studies, agriculture, missionary studies, woodworking, craft design, and teaching English as a second language. So those would be what this site here, which is degreechoices.com, has put as the worst, most useless degrees to pursue. So if you're going to go pay a bunch of money, those will keep you in debt forever. If it's your passion, that's awesome. I wish there was some way that we could do that in a cost-effective way. So I pulled up this other one. This is CNBC. This is called CNBC Make It. This is by Mike Winters, and this was published on Thursday, March 14th of 2024. And this is the 16 highest paying college majors 5 years after graduation. So let's see what he's got here. So he lists a little different. Here are the 16 highest paying college majors. And this is a medium salary within 5 years of graduation. Okay, so he's got, it looks like 15 here. Some have ties. So 15 is construction services and pharmacy. Number 11 It goes all the way to 11 because there's 4 of them here. So civil engineering, economics, business analytics, and mathematics, 65,000 median salary 5 years after graduation. Finance, 66,000 5 years after graduation. All of these are 5 years after on average. Number 8 and 9 is a tie, general engineering and miscellaneous engineering at 68,000. Number 7 is mechanical engineering at 70,000. Number 6 is industrial engineering at 71,000. Number 5 is electrical engineering at 72,000. Number 4, aerospace engineering at 74,000. Number 3 is computer science at 78. And number 2, chemical engineering, 79,000. And number 1 is computer engineering at $80,000 median salary within 5 years of graduation. Now, if you notice, I'm going to count those back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of these 16 or so. 16. 9 of them have the word engineering in it. So there you go. If you can find something engineering related, go for it. And it continues on. He has, it continues this year. It's college majors that pay the most in mid-career, which is 35 to 45, which is huge because that's like your main accumulation stage of money. Those are the years 35 to 45. That's the decade. I'm smack in the middle of that right now. That's where you need to be accumulating as much money as you can. You have the experience from work, so you should be getting paid pretty well. Granted, it might be an expensive time because you got kids coming up and all of that, but you're also between 35 and 45, you're crossing the, into that, okay, retirement is actually not that far away now. So this is where you need to start accumulating a lot and investing a lot into your IRAs and into the index funds and wherever else you're putting your money. So, I mean, I'm not going to read through all of them, but like just going through the top 5, right? Or even 6. So number 1, right after 5 years after college, was computer science. It drops to number 6 in median. It goes to $110,000 at number 6. The rest of them are all the several of the engineering ones. Number 5, mechanical engineering, $111,000 a year. Electrical engineering, $112,000 a year. Aerospace engineering, $120,000 a year. Computer engineering, $125,000. And number 1 is chemical engineering at $133,000. What's wild is to me is that these are great salaries. We can live comfortably on this, but boy, we're really creeping with inflation right now, in my opinion. To make any salary that's under 6 figures is almost thinking could possibly be a struggle at this point. But there's nothing you can do about that at this point. They say you can vote and vote which you think is going to help the most, I guess. We got an election coming up in less than a month. I might do an election episode. I don't know what anyone would think of that. I don't know. I can do it completely unbiased. That'd be fun. But maybe I'll get a Democrat and a Republican, two far people on one side, and have them talk. See what happens. You know what? I might do this. Although I say I should stay away from that sort of thing because I am so sick of it. But whatever. We'll see. Let's just get regular here first, like I said in the beginning. So that's really everything here in this episode. I'm not an expert. Okay. Like I said, I went to college. I don't use my degree. I paid mine off in my own way. I actually had tuition reimbursement while I worked. I took a while to get my degree because I didn't know what I wanted to do. That's another great way to go about it. If they're still doing it at companies, I don't know if they still do this, but if you can get tuition reimbursement while you work and take a couple classes every semester, like 1 or 2 even, and just slowly earn your way to a degree in something that you're interested in, and you can get that reimbursement, that's well worth it. That's what I did. I had some help through my community college, and then from there I was just sort of like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and finish up through DePaul, and I took 2 online classes a quarter or a semester, and I finished. I'm happy I did it, but at the same time, there's really uneventful finish for me. But that's just me. Okay. If you've got a degree, you're in a career, you're doing it, and you're following that path, and you're making ends meet, money's coming in, your debt's paid off, or maybe you took no debt. Great. Like I said, this is not a right or wrong. This is a situational, person-to-person kind of thing. It's an individualized thought process if you think the degree is worth the debt. That's really what it is. Really weigh that out. Remember, you're going to school to get a job, to make money, and you will need to make money. Property taxes are high in a lot of areas. Where I live, it's high. It's a lot. And that is a crippling amount of money that they charge. The income tax, they're destroying you. The fact we sit there and take it like this is ridiculous to me, but at this point, there's nothing we can do. We just laugh about it. But it actually really is disheartening to see how much your government hates you. And I don't care who is running the government at what level. They don't care about you. They pretend to. They want you to think they do, but they don't. It's really just two different sides trying to divide the people so that they don't unite and realize, hey, we don't need you. So they're doing a good job of it. They're doing it. And we get more simple-minded by the day, scrolling through TikToks and Reels and tweets and snaps and all this bullshit. I sound like an old man right now, don't I? But it's fucking wild. And I tell you, these kids now, everything is glam and there's like showy and status. And it's not good. They normalize debt. They normalize it with college. They normalize going into debt. You take your student loans and it's supposed to be a good thing. It's not a good thing. It's a very bad thing. Very bad. But I'm actually going to be wrapping this episode up here because I don't have much more to say about it. If you're listening and you have a thought on this, maybe I'm wrong somewhere here. Maybe I'm off. Maybe I'm a little too far anti-college right now. I don't know what to do with my children as they, I have to support them. I'm not going to sit there and tell my kids. It's going to be really hard, I think, to sit there and tell one of my daughters who maybe wants to go and pursue one of those 11 or 21 most useless degrees that we rattled off I don't think that's a good idea. And, you crush their dreams or whatever, but I mean, I don't know. So cross that bridge when and if that happens. But I got to say, if you're not sure what you want to do, I mean, personally, I think I went the right way with the community college first for where I was. Again, just do what you think is right. So it's really what it comes down to. But weigh out the money, weigh it out. Look at the percentages, the interest rates. Look at the terms. Look at the payback of the degree, and make that educated decision and put that in front of the kids. I don't know if they're going to care because they just want to go and do what they want to do at that time. But man, it's a lot of money to put forward for a kid. It like I said before, their brain's not even fully developed. So technically, what they say, 25 or something like that. Nowadays, who knows? Who knows where our brain is? Fucking with all this screens, technology, and stimulation. Fucking mashed potatoes up there. All of us just listening and not knowing what to believe. But whatever. All right. So again, if you want to respond to me with any of this, that'd be awesome. Whenever I'm on social media at MFS Wellness, that's going to be Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, even LinkedIn. Sometimes I check, but I'm pretty much checked out of that weird fake site where everyone has their degree and boasts about it proudly. But you can also email me, Mike at mfswellness.com. While I did state before that I am working for Snap-on as an equipment sales specialist, great gig. Been there over a year now. But I still do nutrition coaching as by request. So hit me up if you are looking to make that change. I just did a presentation for my team on how to be healthier while you're on the road, and maybe I'll do a whole episode on that, and I could share with those guys if they really want to hear more. But I did a quick presentation at our company meeting on how to stay fit, not even fit, but just how to reduce the way we are, the obesity epidemic that has hit through the sitting and being on the road and eating fast food and going and moving and sitting, and it's a lot. So I'm still doing it. Basically, that's where I'm getting at. So, and I'll always do it. I'll always be a nutrition coach. Honestly, as long as my brain and my body is functioning, I'll do it because I really want to help people with that still. And it's more of a virtuous job for me, right? So than it is for money. But it's good to invest in yourself for that. So and now if you're listening and you're thinking ever about joining with me to work with me, I sort of can work with you on pricing. I don't have set pricing. I have a starting point, and then we kind of say, hey, what are you looking to do? Because it's so individualized, So I don't think I should charge one person a rate and another person the same when maybe they don't need as much accountability, as much planning, or they're more hands off. And we'll work with you on that. Because like I said, money is tight, like we're talking about. That's why I did this whole episode, because money is tight. And it sucks. The grocery store is expensive. So you're already spending all that money on groceries. It's hard to spend on someone to help you how to eat it right and then move along, but it's worth it. Don't get me wrong. It's well worth it if you don't know. So don't be shy. I do free phone calls, free Zooms, whatever you want to do, just to talk and shoot the shit. Make sure you feel comfortable. So, and until the next one, I'm going to try to do an episode next week, by the way. I'm going to try to do it next week. With these other two guys. Like I said, we're going to go for the three dads, divorced dads with daughters. It's me and two other buddies. Each of us have two daughters, and we're going to go for that. So I'm putting it out there, saying it out loud, so I do it. And I want to thank all of you for listening to me ramble. I know I've been trying to close this thing up for 7 minutes, and I just keep going. But thank you all for listening. I really appreciate it. Send me feedback as needed. And until then, I will talk to you on the next episode.